Baghdad in the past 15 or 20 minutes, just a second for us to flip the switch. And you have no idea, David French, how nice it is to hear your voice on this remarkable night. Peter, let's tell our viewers what's happened here. You've got a lot of experience with being under attack, of course, in Vietnam and other places.
Well, okay, John, what seemed to have happened about 20 minutes ago, the anti-aircraft weapons in the city center where we are living around the government buildings erupted in fire. There must have been 200 guns firing to the sky. We did not see any aircraft around, but we did hear the alarm sirens. About 2 minutes after that, there were loud explosions, obviously bombing in at least 3 parts of the outskirts of the city. We had no idea what those targets were, but they were in the direction of the airport and some military barracks. John?
All right, Peter, I'm going to go to the window again so our viewers can stay as much in touch with the situation as possible. I've just seen an emergency blue flashing light on a vehicle down on the streets below. You can hear what I can hear, I imagine, and what we both hear is more of that eerie silence we were talking about before this attack began. On the main drag of Baghdad, we just saw one vehicle go by. There was a bus that went by about 10 minutes ago. The skies here were filled with tracer bullets about 10 or 15 minutes ago, just before we heard all these explosions. Right now, a big portion of the city, the portion where we are, has been blacked out. We've lost electricity. Now off to the south of our position, we can see some more tracer rounds going up into the sky over some of the main downtown Baghdad buildings in the direction, generally, Peter, of the presidential palace.
It is in the direction of the presidential palace, but the palace is barely a mile from here, as are the main communication centers, and the bombing has not come in this far yet. The attack did begin about 2:30 a.m. our time. The skies are clear. There's stars, but the city was deathly quiet all day. Traffic has been dwindling, and shops were closed, and people have been moving out. Now, here in the hotel, the Al Rashid Hotel where we are, there was some indication. Earlier this evening, some of our colleagues received calls from friends who said tonight may be the night for the multinational force to begin its strike against Iraq, and tonight it has come. John?
That's right, Peter. I think it would be good for those of us in Baghdad to turn off our microphone for just a moment. We have our CNN colleagues, of course, all over the world. Perhaps David French, some of our colleagues in other locations around the world may be able to tell us as much about what they know about this potential attack as we can tell looking out our window. Let us hear from you for a moment.
Well, John, let me ask you first if all of our crew there, you and all are well. Is everything all right with you aside from what's going on outside?
We're a little excited, David, as I'm sure is obvious. But yes, we've checked in with virtually all of the CNN crew. We've done a head count. Virtually all of our people are here. Bernie Shaw checked in with us a few minutes ago. We don't know where he is right now, but the hotel has not been hit as far as we can tell. It's intact. And all of us seem to be okay. Chris Krismanich, our editor's got a cold. And you can probably hear her coughing in the background. But anyway, Peter's got some more thoughts, David.
We have a report
the speculation here, David, and it's not particularly well-informed speculation, is that this early strike was basically aimed at seeking out Iraqi radar sites, and we expect much more to come down on us very soon. The attack lasted about 10 minutes. As I said, we are some distance from it. We did not see the explosions, but we heard the explosions very loud, and we did see tracers going into the sky. John?
I'd like to interrupt if I may. John, can you still hear me?
You asked us if we were okay. We are. What have you heard from the Pentagon or from other sources in Saudi Arabia about this attack?
John, I think you might have thrown it to me. I couldn't tell, but if you did, we have a radio pool report in from John Bascom. He's reporting that a squadron of F-15 fighter bombers has taken off from a base in central Saudi Arabia. The fighters, designed for long-range bombing at night, were completely loaded with bombs, according to this report, with missiles and with 20-millimeter guns. That report is from pool reporter John Bascom in Saudi Arabia. Do we have anything else imminent from our Baghdad line at the moment?
What we can do, David, of course, is you know how it is at CNN correspondents like Arnett and Holloman and Bernard Shaw. If we can find them again, we can talk and we can describe what we see for long periods of time, and we're certainly willing to do that for as long as it's possible. I'm looking out the window of our hotel now. As I look to the south, I see that much of the city has been blacked out, but in a distance of 5 miles away, I suppose I can see a ring of lights off on the horizon. As I look out to the west and the southwest from my position, I can see again much of the city blacked out. There are no lights on the major telecommunications center in Baghdad, but it is still intact. It is still standing. As I look off more to the southwest, I can see a large section of the city that has not been blacked out. There is one broadcasting tower, radio or television, that still has the red lights up. It's 250-foot tower. And as I'm going to lean out the window a little bit more now to look more directly to the south to see what I can see in that direction. And I see one huge government housing complex, many apartments. I don't see many lights in the windows of the apartments, but they have had the blackout siren on, and the situation there is that that apartment continues to be there. Peter Arnett has been looking out another window. Peter?
I was looking out the window earlier, John, and
Peter, look over here.
Bernard Shaw and I were watching what basically we are starting to see now. There is a sky is lighting up, I guess, to the south with anti-aircraft fire. Some is bright red, other flashes of yellow light. What seems, if you're still with us, you can hear the bombs now. They are hitting the center of this city. We're crouched behind a window in here. We're about 3 miles from where the center of action at this point seems to be. The anti-aircraft is erupting again. We've seen about 4 bomb flashes. I guess the planes are circling and coming back in eventually for more targets. John?
All right, Peter. I believe we just did see a blast at the main telecommunications center, which may be the center that controls our access to you over this particular circuit. I'm going to ask if you can still hear us in Atlanta and on CNN. Are you still able to hear us?
John, we do still hear you. Continue. We do hear you.
All right, Dave, thank you. When you see your main communications link to the outside world hit with a bomb, you have to keep checking in to make sure we're getting out. But we'll go back to the window so you can at least hear these sounds. We have a CNN cameraman, Mark Biello, by the way, is taking pictures of this, and as soon as we're able to establish a video link to you, which we're sure won't be anytime soon, but will be hours from now, we'll be able to show you the pictures that we're talking about right now. But it really is a sky filled with the bright red and white flashes from the anti-aircraft fire here around Baghdad.
John, U.S. Armed Forces in Saudi Arabia have now confirmed that the war has begun in Baghdad. I suppose that information may be superfluous to you. You're watching it. We'll go back to you.
At that time, but it was similar, but it was much more minimal than this. As I said earlier, Baghdad is obviously a very well-defended city. Now, the anti-aircraft fire has slowed down again. What we saw are about 5 bombs dropped in the center of the government part of the city. The gunfire is quietening down again, and the skies are quiet. John?
All right, Peter, and David back in Washington, as we continue to try to describe this for you as best we can, it's good to have a colleague like Peter Arnett to help out, I'll tell you that. My experience at being under attack is very limited, I'm proud to say. But I think by the time the sun comes up tomorrow, my experience will be much improved in this regard. Our cameraman, Mark Biello, has just come to the window. Mark, you've been taking pictures of all this. What does it look like through your viewfinder?
Basically, this is the second wave of many, I think, to come. On the other side of the hotel, we have some of the buildings that have incredible damage and also a lot of anti-aircraft batteries there.
Yeah.
A lot of action on the other side.
Okay, our microphone cable is long enough for us to go over there, David. If we get a chance to get away from where we are right now, which seems pretty interesting to watch from a reporter's point of view, we might go over to the other side of the building. As we say, we're looking out toward the west side of downtown Baghdad, where these airbursts continue. Peter, you want to run over to the other side, or and just come back and give me a report, see if we should be over there or over here?